Tonight on Cronkite News, delays in FAFSA, how it's causing issues beyond financial aid setbacks.
Plus, what Americans think is the #1 problem facing the country, according to a new survey.
And GCU is off to a great start to their softball season as they sit atop the Western Athletic Conference. We'll take a look at the Lopes head coach that's led softball to nearly 100 wins since 2022. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Marnie Jordan.
And I'm Jacob Jones. Thank you for joining us. A new report on homelessness spending across Arizona says the state spends over $1 billion on its homeless population. Cronkite News reporter Sydney Whitty has been looking at the report and tells us spending comes from dozens of organizations.
The report by Common Sense Institute Arizona looked at tax forms from nonprofits, charitable donations, shelter spending, public donations, and more to come up with a comprehensive look at how much the state spends on the issue. The report shows that Maricopa County spent between $22,000 and $70,000 per person experiencing homelessness, and Pima County spends between $15,000 and $56,000 per person. The report drew numbers from the annual point-in-time homeless population count, which has shown a steady increase since 2017. The report also looked at how the money for homeless services is spent.
And interestingly, what we found is, while substance abuse appears to be both highly prevalent and a significant cause of mortality among people experiencing homelessness in the state and really countrywide, as we'll discuss in a few slides later on as well, funding for substance abuse appears to be relatively low compared to some of the other sort of resource categories, if you will. So the vast majority of the spending appears to be going to housing and shelter related services.
The organization compared the amount spent on individuals experiencing homelessness to how much is spent per pupil funding in education, which is around $14,000. Ultimately, they hope this study will help create policies that tackle the root causes of homelessness. In the newsroom, Sydney Whitty, Cronkite News.
The biggest problem facing the U.S. is immigration. That's according to a new poll from Gallup. More Americans this month named immigration as the most important problem than last month. With an 8% jump, the shift comes largely among Republicans. The survey found 57% of them name it as the top problem. That's up from 37% in January. Other top concerns for Americans include the government, the economy, and inflation.
Today, Israel and Hamas are playing down chances of a potential ceasefire in their ongoing conflict in Gaza. This comes after President Joe Biden signaled a ceasefire may be near. The administration says a ceasefire may allow for the remaining Israeli hostages held by Hamas to be released.
At least my national security advisor tells me that we're close. We're close. It's not done yet. And my hope is by next Monday, we'll have a ceasefire.
The free application for federal student aid, commonly known as FAFSA, is what colleges use to determine financial aid. This year, a new version of the form has been delayed. As Athena Kehoe tells us, the impact goes beyond just how much financial aid students will get.
For a lot of students here at ASU, the FAFSA delays have been stressful. The Department of Education said they were going to send FAFSA information to schools at the end of January originally, but now that's been delayed till mid-March, which is a 6-week setback.
If you don't know what you can afford, how can you actually choose a school? Because it's hard enough to get accepted into a school. It's hard enough to get accepted into your top school. And then on top of it, it's can I afford it?
Adeline Padilla is a sophomore at Arizona State University. She has filled out the FAFSA and understands the frustration for incoming students. She is concerned this delay might push students to take a gap year, dragging out their college path.
Well, I want to go to dental school after. Anyone that wants to do post-grad or PhD, anything, that puts you back, you want to do it right away.
For high school seniors dealing with FAFSA for the first time, trying to decide where to spend the next 4 years or more of their life can be daunting.
Frustration for the students is hearing somebody say, there are no procedures for us to follow at this time. That's just what?
College-Bound AZ mentors and guides underrepresented students through the college process. Paulus notes they are some of the students impacted the most.
An area in the nation where there's a lot of immigrant families. And so that's the part where you have to tell students, yes, your peers are able to get to this point, but you're going to have to wait until more instructions are available.
Hundreds of lawmakers, including Mark Kelly, are pushing for the Department of Education to resolve this quickly.
This holdup means students probably won't hear back how much money they're getting from schools for their financial aid offers until mid-April, which means they don't have a lot of time to make their decisions. But all three of Arizona's public universities have extended their priority deadlines to May 1st to accommodate for these delays. In Phoenix, Athena Kehoe, Cronkite News.
Coming up next, the Arizona Coyotes are taking their talents beyond the ice rink and to elementary schools.
How they're improving early childhood literacy one school at a time.
And Phoenix is continuing to see some cloudy skies. We'll tell you how the rest of the state compares.
As journalists at Cronkite News, we report on stories that matter to you by focusing on the local impact. We dig deeper and work tirelessly to keep you informed.
Live in Wickerburg.
Live in Los Angeles.
In Cleveland. In Washington. In Louisville.
From Jerusalem.
Live in Philadelphia. From around the world to right here in Phoenix.
At Cronkite News, we report the facts and stick to the truth.
ASU's one and only student-run radio station, Blaze Radio, provides students with opportunities to cover a variety of topics. From music,
this is Sun City Garage,
to sports coverage.
Against the Brewers in his last outing, he went
to news.
The bill also gives parents the ability to sue.
And entertainment updates. Blaze Radio offers a fun environment to gain valuable broadcast experience. To find out more, visit blazeradioonline.com.
Welcome back. Some elementary school students in South Phoenix got a chance to try something they've never experienced before. I'm talking about the game of hockey.
But that was just one of the things these students took part in, courtesy of the Arizona Coyotes and a few other organizations.
It's the first event of its kind. The Arizona Coyotes Chief Impact Officer, Nadia Rivera, shares how the idea came about.
But it really ended up morphing into something bigger, and I think it really speaks to the power of sports in bringing people together, because now what started off as a small event ended up bringing up many stakeholders together.
Arizona Coyotes instructors taught the middle schoolers about the game of hockey. Since there isn't much snow or ice in the valley, this is a whole new experience for many of them. PE teacher Marvin Pettit says the team and the school have one common theme.
Us being the Coyotes and them being the Coyotes makes that connection and kind of gets them that excitement because we're all Coyotes.
But some of the younger students, like first grader Cristina Alejandra, aren't quite ready to learn hockey and are still learning to read.
I had reading super good. Like, since I started, I made like boom. And I hadn't made no word like I hadn't skipped no word. I had saved all the words there.
Organizations such as Target, Delta Dental, and the Arizona Center for African American Resources participated in the event. Children were read to and given goodie bags with toothbrushes.
Not only did the kids learn how to play a little game of hockey today, they also went home with a new backpack and a book to read.
Rivera says the Arizona Coyotes want to continue to help the community and promote the importance of reading and education.
This is our chance to be able to bring people together who bring resources into the community. So that's a very big responsibility that we take very serious.
Cristina says she wasn't always fond of reading, but when I asked if she thought it was important to read,
yeah, now I'd like to read. Since I read my first book from my mini library that I have at my house, I am like to reading like books.
In Phoenix, Roxanne de la Rosa, Cronkite News.
This morning, the sky was a bit gloomy. I wonder if any spring showers are on the way.
Adriana Gonzalez Chavez joins us from the Cronkite News Weather Center with our forecast.
Good evening, everyone. We're sitting about 72 degrees right now, partly cloudy for pretty much the rest of your evening, dipping down to 65 degrees by 10 p.m. tonight. Looking at our futurecast across the state, chances of rain and snow moving into the state, mostly focused in the southwest part of the state. Chances of clouds for the Wilcox area, chances of snow for the White River area, looking all the way through Thursday, but it pretty much moves out by Friday and clear skies looking at the end of this week. Looking at our low temperatures across the state, Casa Grande dipping down to 47 degrees, Phoenix low of 54, low 20s up north, Flagstaff a low of 25, Grand Canyon a low of 23 for tomorrow. Looking at our high temperatures across the state, a little warmer than average for this time of year, but not too much. Phoenix almost hitting 80 degrees, but not quite there with a high of 78. Casa Grande a high of 71, and then Sedona a high of 62. So really nice weather to go outside, go spend some time in the sun, maybe go for a hike. Looking at our 8-day forecast, clear skies Thursday, Friday. Looking at the rest of the week, chances of clouds move in Sunday through Wednesday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, partly cloudy. Wednesday, cloudy with a high of 76 and a low of 50. I'm Adriana Gonzalez Chavez from the Cronkite Weather Center. Back to you.
Now to news across the nation. The weather might be friendly here, but in Texas, crews are battling multiple different wildfires, mostly throughout the state's panhandle and across the plains.
That's right, Martin. Because of the strong winds in the area, it's becoming more difficult for firefighters to extinguish them. These fires so far are burning roughly 75,000 acres. There have been no evacuation orders, but fire weather warnings are in place for more than 11 million Americans, including those in Amarillo, Tulsa, and Wichita. It is still unknown what caused these fires.
Macy's announced today that it plans to close its doors to 150 stores over the next 3 years. Macy's says it plans to focus on expanding its luxury brand, Bloomingdale's and Bluemercury. It's all part of a turnaround effort the store is calling a bold new chapter, which focuses on improving their online store and slimming down its offerings.
U.S. home prices hit an all-time high in December. This continues a streak of 7 consecutive record highs in a row in 2023. According to new data released today, home prices in December jumped 5.5% compared to December the year before. Meanwhile, prices in half of the 20 metro markets beat prior records.
Today is the Michigan primary, and it holds quite an important role as Michigan is a swing state, and we are 1 week out from Super Tuesday. Former President Trump looks to tighten his grip on the GOP nomination heading into this election. So far, he has won every 2024 GOP contest despite his ongoing legal battles. Meanwhile, President Biden faces his own political test. Some Michigan voters are looking to put him on notice, pledging to vote uncommitted as a form of protest against the president's response to the conflict in Gaza.
We feel completely neglected and just unseen by our government. If you want us to be louder, then come here and vote uncommitted.
I'm Jack Pearson with a preview of your Cronkite Sports Report.
And I'm Jonah Krell. Sun Devils hockey's time as an independent is coming to a close.
And as ASU joins the National Collegiate Hockey Conference, the team is utilizing local talent to represent the maroon and gold.
What Cronkite News means to me is opportunity.
We do news right at Cronkite News, serving a community ethically, honestly, and truthfully.
And we can provide a necessarily different angle, different voice for those people that really need it.
The students, they have a lot of passion for journalism.
I get to do a lot of stories about the Hispanic community.
And we have access to cover all of these sorts of events and get media coverage of all these different personalities and athletes, and that's just a huge thing.
But it's also a chance for people here to be humanized. Individuals of all walks of life.
Cronkite News will help take the next generation of journalists onto their next careers.
I am old enough to remember Walter Cronkite.
We're putting a lot of pride on his name because we are practicing a lot of the things that he did.
I think he'd be smiling from ear to ear.
I.
We are Cronkite.
The Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications Phoenix Sports Bureau provides students with hands-on learning experiences and opportunities in sports journalism. From covering local high schools, colleges, and the pros, students get the opportunity to go live from our Facebook shows covering local, collegiate, and pro sports in the Valley. From digital reporting, broadcast, social media, and producing, there's opportunities for all. For more, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Welcome to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Jack Pearson.
And I'm Jonah Krell. GCU softball has had a resurgence over the past 2 seasons, winning 97 games since the start of 2022.
That's right, and the rise in play has coincided with the hiring of Shannon Hays as head coach. Rishi Oza joins us now from the newsroom with more.
The Lopes are off to a great start to their season as they sit atop the Western Athletic Conference. The team has been on a tear the last 2 seasons and is looking to continue this run this year under Coach Hays.
GCU softball head coach Shannon Hays has been a collegiate coach for more than 2 decades, but softball was not the sport that he started in. For the first 16 years of his career, Hays was a basketball coach. Softball came calling in 2005, and he has not looked back since.
Lubbock Christian University, who I was very familiar with and knew the president well, they wanted to start women's college softball, and I thought, well, you know, if I don't like it that much, I'll just get right back into college basketball. And once I got started, I've never wanted to go back.
Hays spent time as head coach at Texas Tech, where he is the winningest coach in program history, before moving to D2 programs Colorado Christian and Oklahoma Christian. Across 5 seasons at those 2 schools, Hays accumulated 171 wins before taking the job at GCU.
I was at Oklahoma Christian, loved it, didn't think I would ever leave, coaching at the D2 level. Jamie Boggs, the athletic director here, just kind of targeted me, and she just said, come out, check out Grand Canyon. You got to see what it's all about.
The Lopes made a run to the NCAA tournament last year, and along with Hays, Kayla Rogers was a big part of it. After transferring from Yavapai College 2 seasons ago, Rogers can attest to the impact that Hays has had on the team.
I would say the biggest thing Coach Hays does differently is that he keeps the game lighthearted and fun. He just reminds us it's just softball, go out there, play loose and have fun, and it's something I really appreciate about him.
Hays' coaching philosophy has not changed at all during his time as a coach. According to Hays, it starts with having great players, but once they get on the field, he keeps it very simple.
We have 3 rules. The first rule is compete and have fun. Second rule is be kind and be thankful, be a good teammate. Third rule is just a saying, it's just softball. Everybody wants to win, so we just think about the next game and try to go compete and win that next game, and then let that process take care of itself.
Hays and the Lopes are looking to make it 3 straight WAC titles since Hays arrived in 2022. Coming off a massive upset in the NCAA regionals last season against UCLA, this team is a force to be reckoned with going forward.
Hays and the players said they don't have any long-term expectations for the season as they try to keep the games ahead of them. But with Hays at the helm, a deep playoff run could soon be coming to GCU. In the newsroom, Rishi Oza, Cronkite News.
In the Suns' win against the Lakers Sunday night, they got a lot of production from one of their recent pickups, Royce O'Neal.
Yeah, Royce O'Neal, he's made a big impact, acquired from the Nets earlier this month, and he got his first start in Phoenix Sunday night after being with the team for only 6 games. O'Neal got the start for the injured Bradley Beal, and he made the most of it, scoring 20 points with 6 3-pointers. He also grabbed 9 rebounds. Head coach Frank Vogel says O'Neal has been a defensive anchor for the team, but don't be fooled, he's got some offense in his bag as well. O'Neal said he was thrilled to make the starting roster.
Felt great. I mean, first start, they win, but and whatever group is out there, you know, I'm just going to be myself, play my game. I mean, no matter who's out there, play the same way every time.
You know, he's been here before. He's a veteran. He knows how to play the right way, and you know, he's a do whatever it takes guy. So last game was defending at a high level and, you know, hitting big open shots.
And speaking of big pickups, the WNBA season is quickly approaching, and Jack, the Phoenix Mercury, made some off-season buzz with free agent signees Kalia Copper and Natasha Cloud, who were introduced to the media this past week.
That's right, and Cloud is coming from the Washington Mystics, where she played 8 seasons and won a championship with the team in 2019. Cloud also rejoins her Washington teammate Christy Tolliver, who is the associate head coach of the Mercury. Copper is a 3-time All-Star and won a championship with the Chicago Sky in 2021, where she was named the Finals MVP. Both players are coming off career highs in points and are joining a Mercury team that has a new head coach and an ownership that is committed to bringing another championship to the Valley.
From top to bottom, Matt, Nick, Nate, the front office, Monica, you could tell how hungry they are to, in a sense, rebuild and really do this thing the right way and invest and be one of those top teams.
Invest in women and you see the results that come out of it. People want to play there. People want to come and be a part of something special like that. But like I said, it's something I've never experienced. So seeing those plans and seeing what's in the works, I'm excited to be able to be there.
As Sun Devil Hockey's time as an independent is coming to a close, a new chapter is awaiting them in the National Collegiate Hockey Conference next season.
And ASU head coach Greg Powers is hoping to keep the best talent in the Valley with hometown kids that are proud to represent the Maroon and Gold in this new era.
While the traditional powerhouses of college hockey reside on the opposite side of the country, ASU hockey is etched a spot as one of the only West Coast Division I squads. Now that they have a brand new arena and are joining the NCHC, it's a new era for ASU, and they're looking to build the brand of Sun Devil hockey here in the Valley.
You know, initially I thought I wanted to get away from home and kind of did that in the junior path, and then I realized, you know, kind of a mistake and came right back home, talked to Greg, and lucky enough, he wanted me to come here.
Head coach Greg Powers admits that in the past, they've let talented local players slip away, but that was when the foundation of Sun Devil hockey wasn't fully established yet. Now, things are much different.
Kids are coming to our games that play youth hockey here locally, dreaming of being Sun Devils, and all those kids' defense, they didn't, right? We didn't exist, and so you understand if you lose some battles here and there. But moving forward, we always have, and we'll continue to make an asserted effort to keep the best kids here.
For Heimovich, growing up in Scottsdale meant that he's been an Arizona Coyotes fan since he was little. He rose through the rankings of the Phoenix Junior Coyotes, and now he's able to share the same barn with the NHL team that truly fueled his passion for this sport. Heimovich played his first NCAA career game on this very ice and said that's when it set in that he was making his childhood dreams become a reality.
It was pretty special. Had a lot of family and friends here. A little emotional, but yeah, it meant a lot, and kind of blanked out a bit.
Not only is Heimovich a talented forward on the ice, but Coach Powers emphasized that he is everything a coach could ask for in a hockey player and represents what it means to be a Sun Devil.
Greatest kid, you know, greatest teammate we've had here in a long time, and he comes from an unbelievable family that I know well, and my daughter grew up playing with Haimo's younger brother, so we know them pretty well, and they're great people. It's certainly not a fluke that he's such a good person with how he was raised.
Heimovich hopes to encourage fellow hometown kids to stay in the Valley and join a program on the rise that is looking to continue to turn heads around the nation. In Tempe, Sammy Miller, Cronkite News.
Heimovich and the Sun Devils have 4 more games remaining in the regular season to try to build up their resume for the NCAA tournament.
That's right, Jonah. The Devils are running out of time, and so are we. That's all the time we have today for the Cronkite Sports Report.
We send it back now to Jacob and Marnie.
Thanks, guys. Still ahead, the Royal Mint's Music Legend Series just announced a new legend joining the series.
You gotta have faith. This is an amazing tribute. After the break, who is being honored and how much these coins are selling for. From gold records to gold coin.
What Cronkite News means to me is opportunity.
We do news right at Cronkite News, serving a community ethically, honestly, and truthfully.
And we can provide a necessarily different angle, different voice for those people that really need it.
The students, they have a lot of passion for journalism.
I get to do a lot of stories about the Hispanic community.
And we have access to cover all of these sorts of events and get media coverage of all these different personalities and athletes, and that's just a huge thing.
But it's also a chance for people here to be humanized. Individuals of all walks of life.
Cronkite News will help take the next generation of journalists onto their next careers.
I am old enough to remember Walter Cronkite.
We're putting a lot of pride on his name because we are practicing a lot of the things that he did.
I think he'd be smiling from ear to ear.
I.
We are Cronkite.
The Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications Phoenix Sports Bureau provides students with hands-on learning experiences and opportunities in sports journalism. From covering local high schools, colleges, and the pros, students get the opportunity to go live from our Facebook shows covering local, collegiate, and pro sports in the Valley. From digital reporting, broadcast, social media, and producing, there's opportunities for all. For more, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
From gold records to gold coins, George Michael will now forever be memorialized as a British coin.
The Royal Mint has issued a new collectible of the late singer. The coin features a headshot of Michael wearing sunglasses, his trademark leather jacket, and aviator sunglasses. The coin comes in different finishes and ranges in price, with the most expensive version costing the equivalent of about $3,500.
That's it for Cronkite News. Thanks for joining us.
And to see top Arizona stories anytime, log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.